Welcome to Bebus channel's English section. I'm Imtiaz Patel, Varediawala, and you are watching this program called In Conversation With. I'm one of the hosts of the English section. Bebus brought to you by the Community Media Centre, Bolton, UK. And as name suggests, it is the channel for communication, it is the channel for conversation and interaction for the community. Bebus belongs to all of us. It's about our voice. It's about our communication and our conversation with each other. As a community, we share certain common concerns, problems and challenges. We are interested in common issues for concerns, and Bebus aims to give a voice and platform to all of this. We will look at the issues, examine the issues, and we will discuss these issues in details with experts, and we will encourage our listeners and viewers to participate in the discussion as well. Thus, we will make every effort to create a discussion forum or a platform for discussion through Bebus, where we can collectively discuss certain issues and also collectively come up with solutions for certain issues which are affecting us as a society and sometimes on an individual level as well. Having created this discussion forum through Bebus, the whole idea is to provide relevant, accurate information on respective subjects so that we can increase the awareness within the community and also empower the community with the right information. One very important feature of the Bebus English section is the interviews. We will bring professionals, prominent people, scholars, community representatives, legal representatives, social activists, and put them questions which you have got in your mind. And our viewers and our listeners will have an opportunity to listen to the feedback on respective subject so then they can get an idea about certain things. Today, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are watching Bebus English section, the program called In Conversation With. And again, we are very fortunate to have one very distinguished person with a very solid and sound legal background, Mr. Asghar Ali Saab, with me in the studio. And on behalf of Bebus, on behalf of our listeners, and also on behalf of our viewers, we would like to welcome Asghar Ali Saab to our studio. Welcome.
Good evening.
But before we ask him certain questions about his professions, about his background, I would just like to say that Mr. Asghar Ali is from this legal firm called AA Solicitors and Estates in Bolton, and he has been a solicitor for about 15 years, and his firm deals with various legal issues, conveniences, immigration, litigation, family law, accident claims. And we will listen to his opinion on certain respective areas and how he can be helpful from the legal perspective if just in case you are encountering any situations with all these subjects. So, welcome sir. How would you like me to address you? Mr. Ali or Asghar Ali or Asghar Saab?
Asghar is good enough.
Asghar is good enough. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, welcome to our program called In Conversation With. My first question is that it would be useful for our viewers and for our listeners to have a little bit information about your background, your childhood, your education, and your upbringing, please.
Well, I've been working in the legal profession since 1999. Prior to that, I was studying, I did a law degree at the University of Central Lancashire. I did a postgraduate legal practice course at the Manchester Metropolitan University. I been brought up in Bolton, lived sort of most of my life in Bolton. I'm proud to be a Boltonian. I went through the sort of primary school, high school education system. I did start working actually after high school, and I worked for a number of years before I came back into education. What really inspired me to come into law was when I was in my early 20s. I was a bit of an entrepreneur, bought my own house. At that time I was working very hard, and I started my own property management company where I was doing tenancy agreements and other work, and I thought, perhaps I should be a bit more committed, and I used to help a lot of people. That was my thing. I was always quite smart at school. I did very well at school. People always used to be asking me to fill out forms and advice on letters and things like that. And I thought, well, I think the natural profession for me is a legal profession. And so I went into wholeheartedly into the law degree, and sort of here I am, working as a solicitor, helping people, helping the community as much as I can. That's me, really.
Nice one, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the program calling Conversation With. Our guest tonight is Mr. Asghar Ali Sahab from AA Solicitors and Estates, talking about his legal professions and issue he can deal with it. If you would like to let us have your feedback, if you have got any questions, any statements, observations, or maybe reservations to make, please do call us on our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825. You can also visit our website, which is www.britasianbuzz.com, and you can all, of course, forward your comments on our social media site, which is Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp as well. Asghar Sahab, you have partly answered my question in terms of at what stage you decided to become a solicitor and why. So it was early 20s. You were more or less kind of made up your mind that this is the area you would like to proceed your career. Yeah, and you had this instinct that you can represent people basically in this legal profession.
Very much so. I had by that time matured quite quickly. Having worked for a number of years in different companies, and what always gave me a great deal of satisfaction was helping people, and a lot of people, especially from the ethnic minorities and my own particular background, so Pakistani heritage. A lot of people struggled with English, reading and writing, understanding some of the issues that surround them, having difficulty completing forms, application forms for various things, even school reports and things like that, a lot of things basically. And in many ways, I felt that was my calling in helping people, addressing complicated, difficult issues, and I think, at that time, for a number of years, I've been helping a lot of my family, local community as much as I could, and I thought, yes, hand on heart, how can I, best help my community, or how can I best use my abilities? And certainly, I thought, yes. This is something I could do, but you have to take it one step at a time. Becoming a solicitor is a very hard process, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. And certainly, a lot of people don't get to qualify. One step at a time is, of course, doing the law degree, which is quite hard and is one of the more intense degrees, very popular, a lot of competition to get onto a law degree. The postgraduate course, legal practice course, that is a very difficult course to pass as well. And then after that, getting employment, getting a training contract. So you really have to, push yourself and be committed and work very hard. And that's something that I'm proud of doing, and I'm in a position now to be able to help a lot of the community where I am, and very proud of that. Yeah.
So my next question is connected to what you have just said, that there is a general perception out there as we have in certain areas, so it be political, so it be teaching. Do you reckon that in particularly in the legal field, particularly people from the ethnic minorities are underrepresented? What is your experience on that?
I think certainly we are going in the right direction. When I started work in my first job as in a law firm in 1999, there were very few solicitors about at that time, and I worked at that firm for about 14 years. Sort of vast majority of my legal career has been was at that firm, and in that time, a lot of people sort of qualified at that firm and moved on to make their own solicitors companies. And even I worked in Manchester quite a lot, in Chittenden area, and within a space of probably a couple of miles from having about 4 law firms in that vicinity, there's probably now about 15 law firms, and the majority of them are ethnic minority, particularly Asian Pakistani background firms, so people who qualified and set up practices. So I think overall there may still be a way to go in terms of representations, in terms of judges, in terms of other sort of positions within the legal sector. But I think from where we were grossly underrepresented. I think we've come a long way from that, and I think we're going in the right direction.
I think that's quite positive note. Now, the law is very important, and we all know. If not, then we should know. And we have to live by the rule of law. There are communities known as law-abiding communities. I mean, we often discuss this, here and there. That, what do we mean by law-abiding communities from your point of view? How would you define them?
Well, it's got to be people who respect the law, respect their neighbours, respect other people, living in their communities, and it's very much the hard-working ethos that you work hard for your family, you provide for your family. We're lucky in this country that there's plenty of opportunities for people of all backgrounds compared to sort of many other parts of the world, and it's certainly a tag which can easily be applied to the Pakistani, Indian, all the ethnic minority background communities, where ever since they migrated into this country, they worked very hard. They've always been, respected the law, kept on the right side of the law. I think some issues now in the second and third generation youngsters who, for whatever reason, don't seem to be having the same respect for the law as perhaps some of their parents or older generation, and that's a big topic that needs to be addressed. But certainly, it's people who live and let live. I think that's very important, and that's the essence of it. That you respect the law of the country where you live. The laws are there to protect you, as well as sort of prevent you from doing certain things. And if you do, then there's a court, the police, etc., who are there to do a job. And essentially, law is very important for everybody to be able to live in peace and harmony, so people can get on with their daily lives and have a productive life and a happy life and enjoy the protection of the law. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a very positive and nice response, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the program on Bebus channel and the program called In Conversation With. My name is Imtiaz Patel Varediawala. I am one of your hosts of English section, and my guest tonight is in our studio, Mr. Asghar Ali from AA Solicitors and Estate, who is highlighting his experiences and his opinion on certain areas in terms of our questions. And he has summed up my last question quite nicely in terms of the law-abiding citizens. You got to respect yourself, respect others, your neighbors, society, and live and let live. And the law is there to really protect you and prevent you from entering into any activities what we classify as antisocial activities. So I'm sure that the message has been conveyed by Asghar Sahab very, very positive. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any feedback, or if you have any questions, or if you would like to share your ideas or make any comments, observations, you can call us on our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825. You can visit our website, which is www.britasianbuzz.com, or you can follow us or send your comments to our social media sites, which is on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. Asghar Sahab, domestic violence and family disputes. This is becoming a bit serious problem in our society, generally speaking. Now, what are your experiences as a legal practitioner that, why this problem has suddenly kind of, going up and up? Is it to do with law, or is it to do with social structure, cultural structure, traditions, customs? How would you look at it from the legal point of view?
Well, the problem as regards domestic violence, fortunately, it's always been there. I think it's part of the weakness in people, and I think now we are finding out more about it in many ways, because the culture has changed in many ways, particularly in the ethnic minorities, where people are more willing to come forward if they've been victims of domestic violence. Whereas in the past, perhaps for whatever reason, people were more reluctant to come forward. And let's face it, most victims of domestic violence are females. I think people know their rights more in this modern age. You're able to sort of express yourself via media, find out information about your rights online. There's lots of support groups and people you can talk to, which is a very important part of society, where there is help, where you can approach people who in many ways are trained to deal with this kind of thing. It's unfortunate it happens, but unfortunately it's human nature. When you get relationships like marriage, etc., when they break down, the emotions that people go through are extreme, and unfortunately it brings out the worst in people sometimes, especially when there's children involved, etc. But this is something that, whoever is a victim, it needs to be addressed, because nobody should be subject to that. And obviously, over time, you see quite horrible stories where people have been victim, and the extreme is they lose their life as a result of that, where they've been subjected to abuse, and it's something that society has to tackle. I don't think it's a particularly ethnic minority issue. I think society as a whole has that issue, and I think it's important when somebody is a victim to get the right help, go to the authorities, the support groups, and let's face it, sometimes in a situation, perhaps both, the male and female might benefit from specialist support, and even if they're having issues in a marriage or relationship, sometimes it could be tackled at the outset if they seek particular help, so that it doesn't escalate into a situation where there is domestic violence. So I think the reason it seems as though there's more and more is because I think people are more empowered, especially women, and particularly in Asian communities. They know their rights more than they used to, and they're prepared to speak up and demand those rights. And if they are victims, they're prepared to do something about it.
Thank you very much. Right. You have really set the scene quite well, and you have given us a lot of background. Now, more or less, my final question would be, Asghar Saab, can you tell us a little bit more about your own firm, which is AA Solicitors and Estates, whereabout you are based, and what sort of services you offer?
We are based on Derby Street, 342 Derby Street, which is a very busy area. It's the heart of the community, Dean Double. And I have worked, as I mentioned before, at my previous company for well over a decade. And I just wanted to change and do something on my own. And I chose a spot in particular, as well as it being busy. In many ways, it allows the company to help assist, serve the people of the local community. We're in the heart of it. We're walking distance. You don't need parking to come to our offices, and the kind of services we provide. We do family law. We do sort of divorce if it becomes necessary. We do contact. We do deal with domestic violence cases. We also do a lot of property work, which is a busy area for ourselves, and we've established ourselves as some who provides a very fast and efficient and very competitive service. We do quite a lot of residential and commercial property. We do a lot of immigration work as well. That's something that's quite important to the surrounding community. Obviously, with there being a large immigrant or Asian or ethnic minority background community, there's a lot of issues with bringing sort of spouses over, visitors visas, etc. We're very proud to be able to help people in all those three areas. We also do lots of wills and probate. We do employment law as well. Generally, with us has been a high street practice, we try to provide a service for the community, for whatever their needs are. The only thing we don't really do is criminal law, but pretty much everything else is a high street practice. We try to provide for our clients. Recently, we started an estate agency where we sell property for our clients, and we provide a discounted legal service if they sell the property through ourselves. We do commercial, residential sales and lettings as well, and management. So that's progressing. We've started advertising in the voting we used recently in the property section. We've rented out a few properties. We've got some up for sale. So we're very proud to be able to provide an all-round service.
Nice.
And you can find legal services and estate agency services all under one roof, which we hope sort of helps people sell their properties, let their properties out, and ideally, we located in the heart of the community so that we accessible. We very easy to get to, and easy to approach as well. We don't need an appointment to come to our office. We have a sign saying just come in, whatever your issue is, and we give lots of free advice. A lot of the issues we provide initial free advice, and hopefully that assures a lot of people, no matter what their issue is. And then if we can sort of follow that up with more detailed legal work, if they need our services, we are obviously always grateful.
Sure. We are nearly coming towards the end of the program. मैं चाहता हूँ कि जो मेरा आखिरी सवाल है आपसे, which I would ask you in Urdu. We've been talking English, but just to convey the message that your services do provide, if not bilingual, trilingual services. तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि आपका message as a legal person and on behalf of your firm हमारे viewers के लिए और हमारे listeners के लिए क्या होगा? Your message.
मेरा मैसेज यही होगा कि आपको कोई भी लीगल ज़रूरत हो, एडवाइस चाहिए, मकान बेचना हो, एक्सीडेंट केस हुआ हो, इमिग्रेशन एडवाइस, फैमिली इश्यूज, हमारे दफ्तर में आए। हमारा दफ्तर आसान है, डरबी स्ट्रीट पे है, सब लोगों के लिए आसान है, पार्किंग भी है, उससे नज़दीक सब कुछ है। और काफ़ी लोग ऐसा होता है कि सोलिसिटर्स जाने से डरते हैं कि हाँ फीस चार्ज करेंगे, ऐसा करेंगे, वैसा करेंगे। हमारी इनिशियल फ्री एडवाइस होती है ताकि आपको मालूमात हो जाए कि जो इशू है उसका हल कैसे हो सकता है। उसके बाद आप मर्जी से जो भी सोलिसिटर को इंस्ट्रक्ट करना चाहें कर सकते हैं। हमारा मेन मोटो यही है कि हम अपने क्लाइंट के लिए अच्छा काम करते हैं, तेज़ी से करते हैं और जायज़ प्राइस पे करते हैं। तो आप हाजिर हैं, आपके लिए जो भी कुछ काम हो आप हमारे दफ्तर में हाजिर हों, हम आपकी मदद करेंगे।
Nice one. Thank you very much, Asghar Ali Saab. We were in conversation with Asghar Ali Saab from AA Solicitors and Estates. Today we have talked generally about the legal professions and focusing on one or two very general ideas to have a picture. Hopefully in the very near future we will run a series of programs on legal issues. So during that period and within those programs we will pick up certain important aspects of the legal elements and we'll go into details with Asghar Ali Saab, so then we would have more ideas about what we mean by immigration, family law, criminal law and subjects like that. Thank you very much our viewers and listeners for watching this program, for listening to this program. Once again, I'm Imtiaz Patel, Varediawala, and today is our guest. We were talking to Asghar Ali from AA Solicitors and Estates. If you do have any questions, observations, statements or feedback or any idea about our future programs, please do let us have. We would love to hear from you, and you can call us on our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825, or you can forward your comments on our website, which is www.britishbuzz.com, or you can also send your feedback on Facebook, Twitter and WhatsApp. Once again, thank you for watching this program. Wherever you are, whatever you do, look after yourself, be happy and make other people happy. On behalf of BBuzz team, on behalf of viewers and listeners, once again we would like to thank Asghar Ali Saab for coming to our studio and sharing some wonderful and useful information. Thank you.